Kingsport National Guard Armory. Friday night, 8:15, that's the date, that's the place, that's the time. I'm talking about Legends Night. You don't want to miss this. Hello everybody, it's your old friend Handsome Bo James. Some people like to call me the King of Kingsport. I just want to thank you and tuning in and watching Southern States Wrestling. You're watching the Power Half Hour, Mountain Empire's leader in professional wrestling. 2 decades and counting. Thank you, Mountain Empire, for making SSW your wrestling. Now, what I want to do, we got a lot of stuff. It's a very special program. Get on that phone, call your relatives, call your friends, call every wrestling fan you know. Even if they're not a wrestling fan, they will be after today. Tell them to tune in. The Power Half Hour is on right now. Now, what I want to do, Friday night, we know it's Legends Night. We're going to have all kinds of legends come back. Guys that's already been inducted in the Hall of Fame are going to be involved in the main event. People, we got some surprises you don't want to miss coming this Friday night. Plus, we're going to induct a new class in the Hall of Fame. But what I want to do right now is get things kicked off on this special edition of the Power Half Hour. Let's go take a look at 2 men that are going to be outside the ring in the main event. Ray Idol, Frank Parker are going to meet for the SSW title. They get thrown out of the ring, there's going to be legends around the ring. I'm talking wrestlers that held many titles are going to be around there. I'm talking about big stars. I'm talking about men that paved the way for everybody you watch right here on TV. And 2 of them very special are going to be there. The master of the East Tennessee dog whipping. I'm talking about the legendary Don Wright. And the boy from New York City, handsome Jimmy the Boogie Woogie Man Valiant. Let's go right now and take a very special look at these 2 men that return to Kingsport this Friday night.
Jimmy the Boogie Woogie Man Valiant. The boy from New York City first came to Kingsport in 1980 and was managed by Lord Alfred Hayes and known as King James Valiant. Jimmy was embraced by the fans and became known as the Boogie Woogie Man. Throughout his career, Jimmy has traveled the world, but through the 80s, on any main event in Kingsport, you could always find Jimmy Valiant coming home. His feuds with Kabuki, manager Gary Hart, the Paul Jones Army, and the Assassin are legendary. Who can forget the night Jimmy unmasked the Assassin at Dobbins Bennett High School right here in Kingsport? The boy from New York City, now semi-retired, lives in Shawsville, Virginia. Don Wright. Anytime you talk about wrestling with anyone in the mountain region, it's guaranteed 2 names will be brought up, and that is Ron and Don Wright. Don first started wrestling at the Kingsport Boys Club with his brother Ron and Whitey Caldwell. He turned pro shortly after graduating from high school. He was an overnight success with brother Ron, holding tag team titles in every region they wrestled in. At times, Ron and Don were the most loved or most hated wrestlers in the sport.
There you saw it. Now, everybody likes to throw around the word legend nowadays. Everybody says this is legendary and that's legendary, but let me tell you something. Now, if you've been following wrestling like I have for most of your life, and if you've lived in this part of the country for a long time, then you know that those 2 men we showed right there are true legends. I'm talking about the master of the East Tennessee dog whipping, Mr. Don Wright. Him and his brother Ron Wright set attendance records all across this state, all across this region, and never be broke. And then I'm talking about WWE Hall of Famer, Louisville Hall of Famer, Memphis Hall of Fame, Nashville Hall of Fame, Chicago Amphitheater Hall of Fame, and right here our very own East Tennessee Wrestling Hall of Fame, handsome Jimmy the Boogie Woogie Man Valiant. Now, people always say, you know, he's the boy from New York City, but he's got that southern accent. He can't really be from New York. Well, the truth is, and you can buy his book right here. He'll have him Friday night. Make sure you go by and say hello to everybody that'll be out there at the table. The legends will be signing autographs. But handsome Jimmy will have his book for sale right there. Very reasonable price. It's close to 800 pages, full of great stories, great pictures, and nostalgia about wrestling. And he talks about wrestling right here in East Tennessee throughout his career, and he'll have it for sale. And you'll find out that the boy from New York City was really born right here in the state of Tennessee, Tullahoma, Tennessee. Then he moved up north as a small kid, but he came back with his wrestling career because he's a true southern boy at heart. He's going to be there. James McCone, he's got something.
All right, the opening contest here on the Power Half Hour. We're going to get our first look. Actually, I guess it's not our first look. Bryan Wayne is no rookie here in this sport and no stranger to the people of the Mountain Empire, but it's our first look as a member of Big Business's Army. Mr. Happy Bryan Wayne against a newcomer to SSW, that's Skylar Cruise.
Well, I'll tell you what, it looks like Mr. Happy has sunk to new lows where he's hanging around with James McCone, that's for sure. And Skylar Cruise, he's got the unenviable task of taking on Mr. Happy and McCone at ringside. So this poor young guy, he's got his hands full tonight, Michael.
Absolutely. Anytime that a member of James McCone's Army is out, and McComb is lurking around the ring. You've got to have eyes in the back of your head, because there's no doubt in my mind and the fans' mind here in SSW that he's going to get involved in some way, shape, form, or fashion. McComb said all he had to do was turn his telephone on, and the people that dislike Bo James were calling him up, wanting a shot to put out the king of Kingsport, and I guess Mr. Happy was the first guy on the phone.
He's been taking it to Mr. Happy in this matchup, and you got to admire the kid for that.
He made a decision to pick apart on Bryan Wayne and started working on it, and that was the leg, but he got caught here, a big fall-away slam, and sends the young man flying across the ring. James McComb says, throws him around in the air. He says, fans, check out Southern States Wrestling on the internet at southernstateswrestling.net. All the latest news and views and happenings in SSW can be found there. Plus on Facebook, just search Southern States Wrestling. Bryan Wayne looks over at us, a very devious-looking individual. And look at this, flies in the air with a big drop kick and sends this rookie, Mr. Cruise, down to the canvas.
I tell you what, we were talking about it last week with the elusiveness of some of these big men. You never know when they can pop up and throw a drop kick or come off the top rope at times, and Bryan Wayne just proved that right there once again. Even for a big man, he's got some agility, he's got some size to him. That's part of what makes Southern States Wrestling the best wrestling that you're going to find anywhere, is these guys are athletes, believe it or not.
And we've got a cover here. Bryan Wayne, very lackadaisical cover, and only gets a 2, failed to hook the leg. Fans, you do not want to go anywhere. We've got a special video profile on the SSW Ladies Champion, the Queen, Misty James. Plus, we're also going to be talking to the Iron Cross a little bit later on in the program as well, so you'll want to make sure that you stay tuned for that. Now look at this. Bryan Wayne got him in the corner, sends him in with an Irish whip. Hard into the turnbuckles, goes in, but misses a big avalanche-type maneuver there, and a very smart maneuver on Mr. Cruise's part, as he moved out of the way very quickly and tried for a side kick. That got blocked, but caught him with a roundhouse kick and sends Bryan Wayne back into the corner.
Skylar Cruise has got the momentum in his corner right now, Michael. This is his opportunity. Oh, no, just that fast. Bryan Wayne come out of there with a huge spear and took the man right off of his feet. That was his moment right there, is what I was trying to say, that he could have turned this match around, but instead it went completely opposite in the other direction, as Mr. Happy, Bryan Wayne, totally stopped every bit of momentum he had, and now Bryan Wayne going back to work on him with a big headbutt right there. This young man is in trouble.
Skylar Cruise is in trouble, that's a fact. Fans, your TV main event today is going to be another match, actually the final match in the second round of the SSW Television Championship Tournament, and you're going to see two guys that are no strangers to each other, and that is Handsome Bo James against Wrecker Rollins. You heard McComb hollering over here at my tag partner Joe Wheeler, says, watch this. Belly-to-belly suplex, sent him straight over, and we've got a cover. 1, 2, and 3.
They'll put her picture up on the screen for everybody to see this girl. Now, she's a lovely young lady, but let me tell you, she's dangerously, dangerously tough. Now, Misty talked about it last week. They've met twice. Jessie Belle won the first time. Misty won the second time. This Friday night, Kingsport Armory is for all the marbles. Southern States Ladies title. Let's hear words from my beautiful wife, Misty James, as she talks about Legends Night this Friday night.
All right, fans, welcome back to the Southern States Wrestling Power Half Hour here. Michael Sutherland, and I'm joined by the lovely Queen, Misty James. The matches have just finished up here in Morristown. What a packed house we had. You and Jessie Belle for that championship.
Yes, the match has been signed for Jessie Belle. Girl, we've met twice in the past, and we have put a pretty good fight with each other. You've won a title, and I've won a title. And now I got the word that you're going to come back to Kingsport, Tennessee, back in my hometown, back in my back door, and try to take this title away from me. Girl, we're going to meet again, and once again, it's going to be one good fight. I guarantee I'll be ready for you.
All right, fans, Jessie Belle, you better be ready.